Android 12 in the form of One UI 4.0 has now finally begun rolling out to various Samsung devices. Unfortunately, my Galaxy Z Fold 2 has still not yet received the One UI 4.0 update. I wish that I could be making this video here, but instead I do have the One UI 4.0 update on my Galaxy Tab S7. So in this video, I'm going to quickly show you my favorite features of Android 12 or One UI 4.0 on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7. Now this will apply, all of the things I'm going to talk about here will generally broadly apply to any Samsung device running One UI 4.0. So now let's jump into those features. So one of the first things that has changed the most when it comes to One UI 4.0 is the ability to customize the appearance and to theme this device. So now when you long press on your home screen and you go into the wallpaper and style selection, you're going to see an additional option down here that says color palette. Now this is of course the Android 12 sort of theming system just brought over into One UI. So let's quickly go to my gallery. Let's select a new wallpaper. Done. We're going to set that to our home screen, and I'll show you how this works. Let's set on that home screen, and we're going to get a new page here where it's going to pull some colors out of that image, and you see how they'll apply depending on what palette I choose, right? You see how they'll change, and then you can actually apply that palette to the icons as well, to your actual icons on your desktop. Let's go ahead and set that color palette, and now you'll see those colors being reflected, a little blown out, a little bright, but it is pink, being reflected on my device. You'll see the camera icon, the system icons over here now do also reflect that same color. Of course, if you don't like that particular palette, you are free to go in and to select a different one, and there you go. There is also an option here to apply dark mode to your wallpaper, and literally all that does, as you can see up there, it just slightly darkens that wallpaper to just add some additional cohesion to your theme. Now, speaking of adding cohesion to your overall theme, you're going to notice that your widgets have a different look to them as well. If you look at these widgets here, you'll see that they have sort of a rounded edge to them. And if we go to a device which is conveniently not running One UI 4.0, my Z Fold 2, you're going to see how much more square. Look at this OneNote. It's perfectly squared off. This is rounded, but not rounded to the degree that it is on One UI 4.0. And if we go into the widget selector, it is totally different. You now have a vertical selector, which looks, I think, a lot more organized. And you're just going to generally find that the widgets that you do have access to just have a more consistent rounded look to them than they might have had before. I actually finally think that the built-in calendar widget and the weather widgets are actually now worth using, and I'll let you look at those now. So here are the calendar widgets, and they do look really nice. Let's go ahead and place this one on the screen here, and then let's go, wrong button, let's go to the weather widget, which also, they do look pretty good. They fit that theme, that aesthetic really, really nicely. They finally all look like they belong. And with those rounded corners, you're going to find that they do make their way to other places. If we select a video on YouTube and then let it go into the picture-in-picture, you're going to see that it does look a bit more rounded than it did before, and it can also be fully resized and put wherever you want it to be. So you could be scrolling through Reddit and you could picture-in-picture your video at the bottom, at the top, in the middle, nice and small, wherever you want that thing to be. It's going to work just fine. And again, it's more rounded and just generally fits the theme of One UI 4.0 much better. So this next one is a really great feature in terms of privacy. So something that iOS has had for a while are privacy indicators. If your microphone or your camera are being accessed, the actual phone itself, it's going to let you know up there in the corner. Well, now that's a thing that's here on these Samsung devices as well. Let's go ahead and launch the camera. And you'll see this little green dot up there in the corner. What that means is your camera is being accessed. and let's begin recording, you'll see that it will briefly indicate mic and camera. And if you look at your notifications, you'll see that icon up there, microphone and camera both being accessed, letting you know, just in case the app doing that is not one you thought was, you didn't know it was, you didn't intend for that to be happening, now you're going to know. So this next one is a little bit odd to me, but it might be useful to you. If you look at your quick settings here, you're going to see a little new button up here, edit the buttons. You're going to want to drag this one in, but it's called extra dim. So obviously you've already got the ability to change the brightness of your display, but let's take it all the way down to as dim as it can be. Now we can actually click extra dim and it's going to get even dimmer than that. So wherever you're at, let's say you're going to be locked right there. You can click extra dim and go even dimmer than you were before. Now, it's important to keep in mind that, you know, when it comes to a screen's brightness, that's usually like a physical constraint, how little light it can actually be producing. So this, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. If this is more like some kind of a filter or if this is actually less light coming out. It appears to be less light coming out. But at any rate, for someone that likes to use your phone in a very dark area and you're constantly having to move that slider around, maybe just a quick toggle will be quicker and easier for you to use. Something else that is new in your quick settings that relates to a prior option, if you go to edit buttons again, you're going to actually now have a button for camera access and for microphone access. So you can drag those in, and what those toggles are going to do is they're going to fully shut down those pieces of hardware so that no application has access to them at all. Another great privacy option we've seen elsewhere, now making its way over to Samsung devices. So there are definitely more than just what I've shown you here. The device care app looks a bit better. The camera app has been reconfigured a bit so that like you don't have icons for your zoom distances. Your ultra wide is actually numbers now, which is easier for most people to parse. But those are my personal favorites in terms of the best features of One UI 4.0 Android 12 on Samsung devices. Let me know what I've missed down below in terms of the best features. What are your favorite features of this new piece of software? All that stuff needs to go down there in those comments. Guys, I'll see you on the next video. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.